Assalamu alaikum and good evening. You are watching HumSub.TV and I am Munib Hamid with the news. IHC dismisses Nawaz's petition seeking consolidation of references. Islamabad High Court on Monday dismissed the petition filed by former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif seeking consolidation of corruption references filed against him and his close relatives by the National Accountability Bureau. In his petition, the ousted Prime Minister had sought joint trial in 3 references pertaining to the Enfield Properties, Flagship Investments and Al Azizia Mills. Earlier today, an accountability court in Islamabad had suspended its hearing into the corruption references as it awaited the High Court's decision on Nawaz's petition. The court is expected to resume its hearing shortly. Lawyer asks accountability court to suspend process of declaring Dar a proclaimed offender. Former Finance Minister Ishaq Dar's counsel on Monday requested an accountability court in Islamabad to delay the process of declaring his client a proclaimed offender until next week. The accountability court is conducting a hearing in connection with a corruption reference filed against Dar by the National Accountability Bureau. The court is expected to declare Dar, who is accused of amassing assets beyond his known source of income, a proclaimed offender during today's hearing as the deadline given to the former minister to appear before the court in connection with the reference file against him expires. During today's hearing, Dar's counsel, Advocate QATAR'S, told the bench that his client's medical report will be submitted to the court next week and will contain the former minister's diagnosis. Therefore, he added, the process of declaring Dar a proclaimed offender should be deferred. Government announces zero load shedding in parts of country. After being unable to fulfill its earlier promises of ridding the country of power outages by November 2017, the government announced on Sunday that it had managed to ensure zero load shedding in some parts of the country. Under the new arrangement, more than 15 million power consumers will not experience load shedding in their respective areas. More than 5,000 feeders in the country will turn into zero load shedding feeders from tonight, Minister for Power Sardar Awais Ahmed Leghari told a press conference on Sunday. Presently, 236 feeders out of 8,600 feeders are observing zero load shedding, but from tonight, 63% will become load shedding free. U.S. Defense Secretary Mattis to reach Pakistan today says we'll look for common grounds. U.S. Defense Secretary James Mattis is due to arrive in Pakistan on Monday today for his first visit since overtaking the charge of Pentagon, a visit he said would use to look for common grounds between the two countries and discussion on President Trump's new regional strategy. We'll discuss the South Asia strategy, the secretary told reporters, saying that he had already visited India and Afghanistan and it was a continued dialogue that the United States for the Afghan peace process. The U.S. remains committed to a pragmatic relationship that expands cooperation on shared interests, the U.S. Secretary said, while reinforcing President Trump's call for action against alleged safe havens. Accidents, suicides account for death of 1,600 Indian troops annually. Without going to war, India loses around 1,600 military personnel every year, and the single biggest killers are road accidents and suicides, much more than counter-insurgency operations or firing duels with Pakistan along the line of control in Kashmir. Latest figures collated by TOI shows that road accidents claim the lives of over 350 soldiers, sailors and airmen every year, while another 120 personnel take the extreme step of committing suicide. Other big causes are training accidents and various health reasons. India does have the dubious distinction of recording the highest number of road deaths in the world, as also one of the highest suicide rates, but the same being reflected in the highly disciplined and trained environs of the armed forces is alarming for many. US pulls out of talks on migration agreement. In a year where the Trump administration is pulling out of UN accords from climate change to UNESCO on Israel pressure, the United States notified the world body that it would no longer take part in global compact on migration, saying it undermines the nation's sovereignty. The Trump administration's top advisors met early last week to determine whether the United States should participate in the talks. White House's Chief of Staff John Kelly, who previously led the Department of Homeland Security's crackdown on illegal immigrants, and Attorney General Jeff Sessions strongly backs a pullout, according to diplomatic sources familiar with the deliberations. Abbas warns U.S. against recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. The Palestinian president on Sunday warned that American recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital would jeopardize the White House nascent Mideast peace efforts. President Mahmoud Abbas's comments came amid a diplomatic push by the Palestinian leader to rally international support against possible American move later this week. Any American step related to the recognition of Jerusalem as capital of Israel or moving the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem represents a threat to the future of the peace process and is unacceptable for the Palestinians, Arabs, and internationally, Abbas told a group of visiting Arab lawmakers from Israel. Boycott hit Qatar's EMIR to attend GCC summit. Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani will attend a crucial summit of Gulf Cooperation Council this week, Doha's foreign minister said on Sunday, speaking at a forum. Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani said Qatar's leader had accepted the invitation to attend amid the region's worst political crisis in years. I will attend the ministerial council tomorrow and the Emir will attend the summit. The Emir received an invitation from Kuwait at the end of last month to attend the GCC summit. It was the first such invitation during the ongoing and increasingly bitter Saudi-led diplomatic boycott of Doha. Iranian President Rouhani calls for Middle East dialogue. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani said Sunday that Middle Eastern countries should solve their problems together without relying on external powers. We believe that if there is a problem in the region, it can be solved through dialogue, Rouhani said in a speech at the inauguration of the Chabahar port's first phase. We do not need arms nor the intervention of foreign powers. We can solve our problems ourselves through unity and dialogue. Rouhani's comments follow an escalation in the bitter rivalry between Iran and Saudi Arabia. 12.5% withholding tax on mobile recharge high, PTA. The withholding tax of 12.5% on every mobile recharge is high since majority of the subscribers fall below the threshold of being taxpayers and cannot get the paid amount adjusted in their annual tax returns, said the Pakistan Telecommunication Authority in its annual report. While the federal excise duty has been decreased to 17% from 18.5% in the budget, the tax rates of the provincial revenue departments are still quite high and should be reduced following the example of the federal budget. Sports. Manchester United stun Arsenal to keep heat on City. Manchester United held on with 10 men after Paul Pogba's late dismissal to beat Arsenal 3-1 in a breathless encounter at the Emirates Stadium on a day when Liverpool and Chelsea also kept up the heat on Premier League leaders Manchester City, but Tottenham Hotspur slipped further off the pace with a costly draw at Watford. Weather. Mainly cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country. However, rain, thunderstorms with gusty wind, snowfall over the hills is expected at isolated places in Malakand, Hazara divisions and Gilgit-Baltistan. Shallow foggy conditions are likely to prevail over few plain areas of Punjab and Upper Sindh during morning hours. And that is the end of the news. For more news and updates, keep watching HumSub.TV. Take care. Please subscribe to HumSub.TV and hit the notification icon on the screen to get the latest updates of our channel. Thank you for watching HumSub.TV.